20, fast left, fast right opens.
And long K left, K right opens, to flat left, to fast right.
Immediate fast left and fast right. And very fast right.
Vasen tosi hidas, varo. Pysy sisällä lopussa, äkkiä oikein, tosi hidas aukee.
The life of any island traditionally revolves around the harvests of both the sea and the soil. But while the Isle of Man pays respect to tradition, it is also the scene every September for world-class motorsport, represented by the Rothmans Manx International Rally, an annual festival of colour and excitement. Behind this scene of natural peace, work has already begun on the event. Thousands of volunteers prepare the island for the occasion, and officials and marshals have been recruited from all over the British Isles.
Absolute left to fast straight right.
The authorities in the capital town of Douglas prepare for the visitors and finalise arrangements to close the public roads used for the competition. Everyone is involved, and after months of work, the scene is set for the island's major international event. As the big event draws near, ferries and aircraft bring an invasion of rally teams and enthusiasts to the island, filling the capital town of Douglas to capacity.
as she goes then, that's fine.
Okay, right.
But while the colourful circus assembles, the drivers and co-drivers have been here for many weeks, slowly driving over the course, noting and memorising every bend and bump.
Long, fast K left, tightens.
Island Meister is world-class rally driver Tony Pond,
right.
who's dominated the event in recent years. His co-driver is Mike Nicholson.
This is a sort of a co-driver's shorthand, really, which enables us to, having had Tony read it to me, I can then read it back to him on the event. For example, that FR stands for fast right, 70 is 70 yards. Obviously that is a caution, crest to K right, and each notation describes a bend to Tony, so he knows exactly what's coming up.
Why are some underlined there?
Some underlined because some are very close to each other, and I, as co-driver, need to get them out very quickly because otherwise we'll be past the next bend before I've called it. So I underline those to highlight the fact that they've got to be called together. To long fast K left tightens. To caution K right. To flat left over crest, crest to fast right. To flat left over crest, to absolute right. Practicing on this year's event, we're allowed no more than 50 miles an hour, some stages no more than 30. Each year the cars get quicker, the drivers get quicker, and it makes life more difficult for the co-driver to keep up with him.
But does it make the job more interesting for you than...
Exciting, I think the word may be. Fast right, fast K left, to fast K left. K right, to fast left over crest.
Following the men are their machines, highly expensive weapons perhaps costing £25,000 a time and carefully prepared to reach speeds of around 120 miles an hour on the closed public roads, very far removed from the traditional tourist pace around the island. One of the few remaining steam trains offers a more relaxed form of transport. For while the rally teams prepare for the 3 days competition, island life continues apace. The carriages are a meeting point for the two halves of the population, the islanders and their visitors. A chance to swap stories and relax. It's a far cry from the atmosphere in competitors' recce cars, where there is only isolation. Casual chat is forgotten, and only the pace notes are related between driver and co-driver.
And turn hairpin left, round post.
A short stop for the travellers who can enjoy a very different style of life from those further down the valley.
There's a cup of tea in here if you want it.
And oblivious to the rally are the island's fishermen, more concerned with the day's catch than the hurried babble of pace notes in foreign languages.
Oikea eri, heti vasen hidas jarru, äkki oikea tosi hidas, siis vasen tosi hidas. Heti oikea eri, heti vasen hidas jarru, äkki oikea tosi hidas.
While holidaymakers relax and the day's harvest is safely returned to the harbour, the rally crews look ahead to their labours.
Absolute left and right, and very fast right. Absolute left, and very fast right kings to fast right minus. And very fast left. 75, and very fast right. Very fast left, and fast right. And fast left open, into gate narrow.
K right opens to flat left and fast right to fast K left, stay straight to fast left to absolute right, fast left over crest, stay straight 50, twisty 70, caution slight left crest to K right opens, flat left through arch 50, fast right tightens to fast left and K left to stop.
The atmosphere intensifies on Thursday morning because although it's 24 hours before the rally starts, there's a chance to get in on the action at the huge Summerland Pleasuredrome.
A lot of people at the Rothmans Rally. There's lots of things to see actually here at Summerland. Manx Line over there have a big stand, and if you'd like any information on Manx Line, just pop over and see the chaps. And right now we go over and join, out of breath, Jeff Campbell once again.
Yes, we're getting that way, but we've got the chief scrutineer for the rally who's kindly spared a few minutes of his valuable time where he's scrutineering the cars downstairs, Mr. Stan Turner.
And as the scrutineers complete their duties to ensure the regulations and safety requirements are met, the spectators grab the chance to see the stars and the cars close up. And although the actual rally hasn't started, the action certainly has.
Well, Sue, before we go rallying in earnest, I think I'd better tell the listeners about some of the fantastic occurrences that happened at Onchan Park Stadium last night. The big hot rod meeting attracted a crowd of over 5,000, and they were all there cheering on their favourites. A little bit of bias towards the locals, perhaps, but Penty Auricola was a great favourite. He wasn't competing, but he was there, signing autographs. Per Eklund was there as well, not in the fabulous Toyota, but having a go. And Malcolm Wilson, the Rothmans driver, he was there having a shot as well.
Well, following Jeff's not so successful attempt, we now go over to the Rothmans team and see just how it should be done.
So take it away, boys, and let's see what time you can set. Take up the spanners now, the wheel braces. One on the right-hand side, that's Steve. He whips off one wheel nut rather more rapidly, certainly, than I did. And in fact, the other mechanic is changing the distributor and the distributor leads, rather, and in fact, all the ignition system. And there's a fury about it, which you would see at a top-class rally, certainly. Ron Lumley wrestles with the ignition system. Their fingers are all thumbs, in fact, under pressure, but they're working well. The rear wheel is now coming off because they're going to change the wheels. The watch is ticking.
You've been attacked from behind, Mike. Again.
I thought so with you standing there. Get you a bad name.
Jimmy McRae and Ian Grindrod negotiate the official channels, and their supporters can still watch the sideshows.
Better than might be faced in the middle of a Scottish woodland at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Perhaps it might not be quite as warm doing it, and there certainly wouldn't be, I would imagine, in a Scottish woodland, 300 or 400 people watching you, a film crew taking you, a live broadcast on Manx Radio, and all the other things which create pressures on the mechanics.
We were talking about this, which has a hole behind it, or it did have.
Did have, can you tell me?
No. Before my day. It fell off at the Scottish, didn't it?
Spoiler broke. No, not stuck at the Scottish. This always gets knocked off.
That's right. And there is a hole there so that you can get into the...
Yeah, that's right.
So we decided that a plate there behind the number plate. Okay.
All right. Okay.
4 minutes and 18 seconds to change the entire four wheels and to change the ignition system. Let's have a word with them if they've got any breath. Ron, is it?
That's right, yeah.
Ron Lumley, what sort of problems are presented by doing something like that in the middle of a big top rally?
Well, of course, the main problems on an event are normally it's pouring down. The driver arrives with not quite sufficient time to do the job. And another problem we have is that spectators tend to get in the way.
Don't miss the 1981 Rothmans Rally Show tonight at the Palace Lido. Doors open at 7 and it's absolutely free. Be there to see TV personality David Vine introduce an amusing rally quiz, some outstanding rally films, and a super chat show featuring some of the world's top rally stars, including names like Tony Pond, Penty Auricola, Jimmy McRae, and Malcolm Wilson. Don't miss it tonight at the Palace Lido, the fantastic Rothmans Rally Show. Be there. Doors open at 7.
And the event itself, of course, starts at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
And from me, Sue Richardson, it's goodbye from Summerland.
As the showbiz subsides, the real excitement of the competition takes over. It will be a fast, furious contest, and there's a lot at stake.
I won it in 78 and I led it in 79 with a Talbot till the car stopped. And then I won it again in the TR, so I mean, I don't think the car makes that much difference. If things go right for you, it should be on, really.
On the ramp now, there's a battery of photographers. I would say there's probably more interest in this than in the TT at the moment. I think we've got to hand over now back to the studio, but certainly Walter Rouhl is on his way, Tony Pond is on the ramp, and there are 120, 130 odd competitors still to come. We'll be reporting on this event throughout the day, but now back to the studios at Douglas Head.
And that completes another on-the-scene rally report. Keep tuned to Manx Radio for all the latest developments on the 1981 Rothmans Manx International Rally.
And very fast right, very fast left, and fast right, and fast left open, into gate narrow, fast left long, and absolute right.
And fast right, long fast left, and
slight right, and caution, slight left to K right tightens.
The dramatic news in the rally is that we hear unofficially that one of the top contenders, number 4, Pentti Ricola, may be in trouble. He's certainly not arrived here, and he's alleged to be parked on a special stage, having lost a wheel. So, checking back after the first stage, Walter Rouhl, 10 minutes 39. Second was Jimmy McRae, 3 seconds behind him. Third place, Terry Cabey, number 9, a further 7 seconds back. In 4th position, Malcolm Wilson, the surviving Rothmans escort driver.
Walter, how are you enjoying your first rally on the Isle of Man?
That's nice, but my speed was too fast on the first 3 stages. I nearly went off 5 times. If you make notes in a slow speed, you couldn't feel all this bump and jumps, and I was jumping like hell. I think it's impossible to go always this speed during the race. Somewhere you went off for sure. I have to keep my speed a little bit down.
Do you know how your times are comparing with anybody else yet?
No. Just first stage I was fastest, I know, but nothing else.
Tell you what happened there on that first stage?
A little bit of a spin.
Oh dear.
When you practice so slowly at 50 mile an hour, you don't find the bumps. And we got a series of 3 that you don't even notice going over at 50. Hit them at 100, and you go off the top of one into the other, and then straight round. So we went round twice.
Did you hit anything?
No. Stayed in the road. Skill that was. Had my eyes closed the whole time.
You can only practice at slow speeds, therefore it doesn't feel so bad, but in the heat of the moment on the rally, then you're going a lot quicker and you hit the bumps a lot harder, that's all. It is rough.
25 in.
25 in.
And yeah. Keep the tyres off for the last minute to see what the weather's going to do.
How long have we got?
30 minutes.
We've got
30 minutes. Probably going to 10s.
Jimmy, how were the first stages?
Very good. I'm glad they're over now. Pentti stopped in the 3rd one. So...
Why are you smiling, Jimmy?
Because I think I've won the championship.
Yes, McRae has clinched the 1981 Rothmans Championship. A fine achievement for him and co-driver Ian Grindrod.
First stage, every rally you do is quite a surprise. Especially this rally, after practicing at very slow speeds, it was even more of a surprise. Just the thing you need to wake you up.
How was Jimmy driving this morning?
Oh, exceptionally well,
now,
as always.
Ian, you've got a unique position to judge. You've been co-driving with Tony Pond, and now you're co-driving with Jimmy this year. How do they compare?
They're two completely different people as characters, but without a doubt the two greatest drivers in Britain and some of the greatest drivers in Europe.
After his early high-speed spin, Pond is climbing back up the leaderboard, showing his speed. But now he needs bravery as well. McRae's in second place. It's his best ever season at home and on the continent. It looks a big car for such high speeds down narrow lanes, but McRae's already won the Circuit of Ireland at Easter, and he's on form. Up front, it's world champion Rouhl, the Porsche 911 maintaining its lead, but even now it's only a matter of seconds which count. And this is just the fourth of 36 special stages. Young British competitor Terry Cabey is third, beating many of the factory-entered drivers. But sadly, his fine effort soon ends when the Chevette wilts under the strain. That promotes Malcolm Wilson up one place. The Ford Escort is now showing its age against some of the supercars of the 80s, though it can still entertain. As Belgian Robert Droogmans demonstrates.
We're trying very hard, but we're not going very quick, I don't think.
Pond, nevertheless, is catching the leaders, except the world champion.
Not sort of beating the Porsche, which must admit, having driven the TR here, knowing the capabilities of a good sports car on this island, if the guy can pedal it down a good fast pitch, you've really got to battle with him over the bumpy stuff to get in touch. And because he's just nicking a few seconds all the time.
Behind the race for the lead, Eklund's Toyota is inside the top 10, the Swede showing his usual determination. Wilson now carries Rothman's hopes for success, having a good drive, holding fourth place. While further down the order is previous Manx winner, the old master, Roger Clark. 300 brake horsepower plus German driving talent still leads the way, even if it's still only by seconds. But some drivers are not happy. Speeds have increased dramatically in rallying, and in dry conditions, cars now use slick tyres developed from the Grand Prix world. Wilson's Escort isn't handling right, though he negotiates this tight sequence in style. Eklund's Toyota is also a handful on unsuitable tyres. But whatever the problems with the cars, it makes little difference to the thousands of fans who've travelled many miles to see the action. And still a favourite with the supporters is Roger Clark, aiming for a top 10 place. As are a couple of European challengers on the event. Didi is driving a Fiat 131 R-Path, although it's countryman Droogmans who's leading the Belgian challenge. The British challenge is led by Jimmy McRae, whose Opel is only 4 seconds behind Rouhl's Porsche at the end of the first leg. But it's Tony Pond's Chevette which is now setting the quickest times on the special stages.
Oh, it's quick.
Very good, yeah. Speeds go up every year. 10 seconds quicker on stage.
It feels quicker than last time.
Well, why is that? Why is it?
Tyre development, suspension development. The drivers lose a little bit more of the brain power, and, you know.
They haven't much to start with either.
Pond's superb effort has brought him to within 10 seconds of Scotsman McRae at the end of the first section. But where will it all finish?
I think it'll finish up with drivers going on their own because nobody will go with them.
And the pace is too hot for some. Donny Keating's Chevette has attacked a bridge, and there have been other mishaps.
Was he? Aye. Where have you heard that?
Marshall just said he went off and ran Russian mines coming downhill. Bad?
Yeah.
One of them's hurt.
So I believe. Well, I heard the ambulance had been sent in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it seems to be all right through the night, and then you get a sort of. A lot of people start retiring on the last day.
And Walter's going all right.
No, same as the TR was last year. In fact, it's about the same percentage of time quicker.
Yeah.
It's the old sports car syndrome, isn't it?
Rouhl still leads, but the daunting night section lies ahead.
Big question mark is the night time. Now during daytime it's not so bad for me, even with my small practice. I can see what's going on, but maybe in night time I slow down.
What about tonight now, Tony? Who's going to have the advantage tonight, if anything?
I don't know. Maybe because we've done a lot more rallies on the Isle of Man, maybe we will. I don't know. Be interesting to see. Walter's obviously with a world champion. He knows exactly what he's doing. He may find it a little more difficult at night when you have to rely on memory of even more than pace notes.
Pond's performance in the darkness is devastating, pushing the Chevette around the island faster than ever before to pass both Rouhl and McRae early in the night. McRae also overtakes Rouhl but is quite unable to stay in touch with the flying Pond.
2, 1, go!
Wilson is still fourth but now several minutes behind the three-way battle for outright victory after losing time with a puncture. Clark is climbing up the leaderboard, but Pond's amazing speed is demoralising the opposition.
I just said he was a bullshitting. I said he was a bullshitter.
Yes, we've had the bullshit from him. Now what about from you, Jim? How's it going for you
He's
tonight?
full of it.
How's it going for you?
All right, no problems. They keep saying slow down, he's going to blow his engine, but nah. And that's what I said, he's just bullshit.
So you're up to second now, I understand.
Yes, we've passed Walter.
Now, is it another Scottish job now where you settled what you...
No.
Never settled on the Scottish.
Hey, we've a long way to go, boy. No Vauxhall wouldn't last.
He told everybody he'd settled, but he never had. Gave me really heart failure to the end. 2 stages from the end, he took your brains out, didn't he? Yeah. Should I say did a balls out?
That will be all right.
Had no problem, Jimmy.
None. He's the only problem.
We're in the same company.
Big problem too.
We're in the same company, Jim.
Sure.
While the drivers have a brief respite, Ulster's Liz Patterson produces another news bulletin with her husband Brian. Their news sheets are a vital part of the British scene, with rally reports handed out during the event. The spectators who follow the action through the night learn of Rawl's relegation to 3rd place, but others are in more serious trouble. Eklund's Toyota Celica is soon to retire with engine problems, Wilson will drop time with a puncture, and Droogmans will retire with a blown motor while chasing Wilson. Patrick Chevette will need a complete new clutch. But still making the headlines at the end of the night section are Jimmy McRae's Opel Ascona 400 and the Vauxhall Chevette HSR of the leader Tony Pond. Saturday morning, the start of the final sections. A thoughtful Walter Rouhl watches McRae follow Pond to the start ramp, 48 seconds behind after 180 miles of frantic driving.
The only problem is Pond in front. He's lost his brain last night, I think. He was going so quick, you know, but we'll see what happens today.
Do you think you'll be able to catch him?
I don't know. If he goes as quick as he was last night, I'm afraid not.
You're going to settle for second, are you?
Settle for second in European points, I think.
Yeah. I don't believe...
Tell him that.
Jimmy says he's going to settle for second. Do you believe him?
I know. I've heard that one before. That's why I asked you to tell me that.
Pond doesn't ease up. He knows that just one puncture could cost him his win. And Rouhl is a renewed threat now that it's daylight again and a brake problem's been rectified. Wilson's still trying, aware that no rally's ever over until the leaders cross the finishing line, and ready to take advantage of any mistakes the top men might make. Margaret McRae has an anxious moment, but husband Jimmy is on time and determined to stay in touch with Pond. The gap's still about 45 seconds, but the sleek Chevette is still there and under control. But no one's told McRae, who's absolutely flying. Top gear, well over 100 miles an hour. The Scotsman maintains his pressure.
It's like the Scottish cat and mouse. He's a cat and I'm the mouse. Sneaks 5 seconds on me and then I have to go and do a full house job and get them back again. And there's no chance to relax, really. It's very close because the Porsche's catching. It's all getting interesting.
You've been going very quickly this morning.
Yeah, now we found the fault in the brake system. And the last stage, It was first time that the brakes are really proper working, but now I lost my third gear. It would be nice to make big pressure to Tony and Jimmy, but without third gear I can do maybe same times, but I can go a lot faster.
The German seems resigned to third place, but stays in contention. And the Porsche has left a lasting impression with all those who've seen the flying demonstration around the island. But it's still Pond who shows the determination to resist the fiercest pressure from the world's best. At speed or negotiating the narrow hairpin bends, the Chevette is proving equal to the task. McRae chases, but time is ticking away, and surely Pond will not make a mistake now. Wilson knows the leaders must hit trouble for him to improve, while Patrick Chevette drops behind Roger Clark with clutch problems. And Irishman Sean Campbell moves ahead of both Clark and Patrick.
Must be a great disappointment to you to wind up to it and then it all goes bang so early on.
Yes, it is. I believe we're up to second place. You know, there's no chance of winning the event, I don't think, unless the man in front would have dropped out. But we're up to second place. We could have carried on at that.
Well, Eunice, what's to be done now?
I think it's time I went to the pub, actually. That's about the only thing I can think of at the moment.
Drowning the sorrows is a traditional pastime in motorsport, isn't it?
It is definitely for us too, yes. We've done it a couple of times. Yeah, a bit disappointed, really. Shame, but it's the way it goes.
Well, I think you've had a good run, and the escort was probably getting a little bit long in the tooth, Bill, was it?
Yes, it's definitely due for a change.
Will you be back next year?
Oh, certainly.
The final service control, and only 2 stages remain in this gruelling challenge as Pond's car arrives for its last maintenance. A nerve-wracking period for any rally leader, at a time when the car seems to start making noises of its own.
Check the rear suspension for a spanner check, would you? Just a little rattling.
What's it feel like when there's 2 stages to go, you're in the lead? Is it a bit...
You hear more rattles and more vibrations than you heard 20 miles ago. Is that a new one? You just keep worrying.
Not a growling noise, but a rattling sound. It's sort of like something chattering around. Nothing serious.
It's always done that, sure.
I think so, but it just wants to check it.
So I must never give him confidence, you see. If he took 5 seconds on one stage, 5 seconds on the other, he immediately thinks, right, I've got him.
So it's quite a psyching game, really.
Yeah, if he takes 5, then I have to do my damnedest to make sure he doesn't take any in the next one.
Who's winning the psyching war at the moment, then, would you say?
Oh, I don't know. I keep winking at him. I think I'm winning. He doesn't like me winking at him. He thinks I've got something up my sleeve.
So we just keep our fingers crossed, I think, now.
And my toes.
Yes.
I find it hard braking with crossed toes, but it's still worth a try.
5, 4, 3,
Well, if braking is difficult with crossed toes, there's no problems with acceleration. Pond blasts the Chevette through the narrow banks of the final stage on the way to a superb win.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
McRae follows in his tracks after a fantastic battle which has kept the fans on their toes through 2 days and a night of great action. And Rouhl is next with the Porsche, but heartbreak is just around the corner for the early leader. The car clips the gravel on the outside of the corner and breaks a drive shaft. Power is lost and the German champion can only sit helplessly as the car coasts downhill to stop 500 yards from the end of the final stage. A desperate end to a fine effort. Wilson's perseverance pays off and he takes 3rd spot after a good drive with the Rothmans Ford Escort. But the hero of the hour is Tony Pond, who takes his 3rd victory on the Rothmans International Manx Rally by just 37 seconds after 300 miles of competition.
I think we lost a bit of a microphone, now we're in. Tony, well done. Oh, come up. Joanne and Diane. Great stuff, isn't it? Unbelievable.
Your Uncle Joe drank a bottle of varnish and had a horrible death, but a lovely finish. Fellow said to me, your mother-in-law has just died. Do you want her embalmed, buried, or cremated? I said, take no chances. Give it a lot.
When did you know about what had happened to Walter?
Well, it was on the last stage. I mean, we were the car behind him, and we got down to the ford and we saw he was parked up. But then we didn't know whether he was going to get to the end of the stage, but we didn't.
But tell me seriously, when you knew what had happened, did you say, poor old Walter, which of course all the best sports would do, or did a little grin spread across your face and say, here we go, fellas, let's get in?
No, I honestly, felt sorry for him because he deserved to be where he was.
He's got lots of Irish supporters here. Are there any Scots supporters? Oh, well, a little message straight in from Scotland here. It says, it's sad to lose a rally, but look at what you've got. You're the British Open champion and the first time ever a Scot.
Tony, great rally this year, but I mean, you really had to go a bit in the night section, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it was that bloody McRae. He's been so much trouble all year to me. And tonight they've given him a great big prize, a big picture of an Opel Ascona. I mean, I have nightmares about bloody Opel Asconas. So I see him present everyone tonight. Anyway, he's a good sport and he's the best bloke to win the Open Championship.